Hi, everybody. So take a ride with me.
For the victory lap, though. Whoa, whoa. They ain't never seen nothing like this before.
Hey, welcome to my second home in Virginia.
The front door. Ask me if I stress overcome. What for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yup, the champ is here, switch gears.
Hey everybody, it's Kahan, Dhillon. I felt it was important to tell you and share with you a little bit about who is Kahan Dhillon. My background is very diverse. Beyond the turban, my background spans the entire globe. So my father was born in India, which is where my faith Sikhism is derived and originates from. My mother, on the other hand, though, was born and raised in Africa. She was born in Tanzania, raised in Kenya, and my mother and the entire side of my mother's family still lives and operates their businesses back home in East Africa. You know, for me, I always wondered from the day that I got to interact with and get to know Baltimore, from even the initial individuals that I met and the cultural aspects of Baltimore that I learned. I always wondered, what is it that drove me to this place? Why is it that I always felt a sense of home in Baltimore? My closeness to the people of the city is derived from my own innate background. That diaspora and how it impacts the city of Baltimore, it didn't take me long to realize that connection. When it comes back to my background, just brief highlights. I started off always intrigued by politics, and specifically how the political arena affects the daily lives of people. So when I was a young man and just getting started and wanting to go do internships and everything, my father assisted me with getting a very, very unique experience. That was to work on Capitol Hill. I worked on both the House and the Senate side as an intern, and I learned firsthand the effects that public policy has on the lives of everyday Americans. When I got into my 20s and I started getting involved heavily into the community, from being the treasurer, vice president, chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, to being on a hospital quality control board, to being appointed by the then governor of a state to oversee, be a part of overseeing the entire juvenile justice system, to being on numerous boards that assisted the most at-risk students in the community that I was born and raised in, to being involved on boards of very large businesses, understanding the banking arena by being on an advisory board of a billion-dollar bank. I have had a tremendous number of experiences that together have really helped me and shaped me as an individual. I was always fascinated by both the political arena and business. Started my first business when I was only 17. Got in, moved on from that business by selling it, and started a business while I was in college, a .com that didn't go .bomb. My partners and I sold and moved on from that very successfully, and we were, we really that was a process I really enjoyed. Being young and really making my first real substantial money, and then I decided, well, what did I want to do next? So I was always intrigued by making things, by creating physical things. So I ended up getting involved into the real estate development arena. So from my standpoint, I just have loved real estate since I got into it. And fortunately, my niche that I sort of carved out, because I think in any business we all have our niches, mine ended up being land use. So now being in this business now 16 years, going on, actually this will be going on the 17th year. I've planned or developed almost $5.5 billion of real estate. If we just identify a benchmark since, let's say, the last election for mayor. In the last, that makes it almost about a little bit over 3 years, almost about 3.5 years. The question we should all ask is, what have you done? So from my standpoint, it begins with architecting the largest revitalization plan in the history of the city. It's a $10 billion revitalization plan that creates, a cross-section of real estate development opportunities that act as anchors in all parts of the city to create opportunity for all. So developments in every single district, 5 to be specific, 5 major anchor developments in every single district, which will provide access and opportunity to all residents. Moving on from there, when the city was hit with the ransomware attack, which disabled completely the city and its agencies from even being able to send out paychecks, I stepped in and I offered to fix the matter for free.
Currently, as you may know, the city has now been attacked on one more occasion in one more way, in this case, the virtual world. And so I decided to call some of my resources, some of my contacts, and bring together sort of a collaborative effort amongst colleagues of mine to come in and work with the city to get this matter resolved, not in weeks and months. As you may know, one of the city council members recently in an interview said that this could take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months, but rather in days.
The city, from what I understand, has spent over $25 million on this issue and is still grappling with some of the effects from that unbelievable attack. But we should have never been in that position to begin with. We should have been well prepared, frankly had the patches, the IT patches in place to avoid such a circumstance. But facts are facts. I offered to fix it at no charge, which would have been a savings of $25+ million to the people. Moving on from there, when we had a situation where Poe Homes had their water disrupted for almost 2 weeks, all residents with no running water, I stepped in and offered to fix it for free because the city wasn't able to get it fixed and days were going by, and I offered and I stepped in to fix it for free. I went to the site, I handed out water and other items, and I offered to fix it for free. That was worth, probably somewhere between $1 to $2 million. But again, in both the circumstances of the ransomware and the Poe Homes running water issue, which the shock and awe and the distraught that it brings me is that this is a human right, and some of our fellow citizens were denied it, running water. For me, what was even more enraging about the whole situation is that my offers went unresponded to. Listen, at the end of the day, if you want to call a spade, and you want to, call somebody out for just talk and no walk, why not respond to my offer and call me out and see whether or not I would have produced? But that leads me to the next item, the one where the city had no option and no control over what I did, which was when the Baltimore Teachers Union had, obviously we all know about the AC and heating debacles and beyond unfortunate and unacceptable state of the schools and their HVAC systems, or lack thereof, should I say. When you have 1/3 of the schools without centralized heating and air conditioning. I mean, what are we living in? Third world? What is this? It's ridiculous. So at the end of the day, the Baltimore Teachers Union requested 500 fans from the community. Now, I don't know if that was done as something to shame some politicians at City Hall or what the circumstances might have been, but what I do know is that the request was made. I went ahead and I worked and I fulfilled that.
As you can see in the background, total of about almost 450 fans. As many of you may remember, the Baltimore Teachers Union president had put out a message that went all over the media talking about how the schools wanted, they needed fans and support for the schools and all, and they requested 500 fans. Well, I came to learn recently that as of last week, I had a very positive conversation with the president of the Baltimore Teachers Union. I was informed they had about 200. So I felt that it was necessary to get them not only to the goal of 500, but to well surpass that.
And in this case, I could do so without having to ask the city and wait for a response, because this was something that was a donation that was asked for. But even recently with the coronavirus, to continue to add to showing why I'm running and what I would do and what extent I go to for the people. When we talk about the coronavirus and we talk about the needs, they're absolutely endless, as we all know. So what happened and what did I do? Well, I split the giving back and the assistance in a couple of different areas. 3 primarily. First responders. I went and I purchased, and my team assisted, my campaign team assisted, and we procured 15,000 masks that we're donating to local Baltimore City hospitals. 15,000. In a worldwide mass shortage, as you can imagine right now, it adds up pretty quickly. But it was an honor for us to do so. When we talk about the seniors, which is the next one of the next most affected groups during this coronavirus, we actually put together 1,500 care packages, including everything from masks, things like toothpaste, toilet paper, just the most regular needed items you can imagine, even including hand sanitizer that we branded from the standpoint of our campaign. We put all of this together in care packages and delivered them to seniors. All these experiences have led me to where I am today, which is being able to take this vast experience and this diverse experience and deploying it for the citizens of Baltimore. I'm looking forward to doing so, but I'm not one of those that works solely. I believe that you're strongest when you're working together, and therein, I'm looking forward to working with the great people of the city. All I care about is getting the job done, and whatever I have to do and whoever I have to go through to get that done, I will do so, because when it comes to the people of this great city, we all have a responsibility to do our part to help one another, because after all, we are our brother's keeper.
I'm coming for every single person that has taken from the great people of Baltimore.
You've heard it right here on the Donnie Glover Show.